All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we are again. Healing Circle and a book club journeying through day 15. Wow, oh wow, oh wow. It is a crazy time. And this is perfect. I don't know about you. I've had a couple people text me and they're like, oh my God, I so need this. I'm like, you have no idea. This is for me. I need it. I need it. I need it. Hey, Melissa, it is great to see you. Hey, Jill. Let's go ahead and get started casting a circle of light, specifying that only Source, Creator God, and my healing team and the support teams as needed be present for tonight's healing circle and book club journeying through day 15, where we are talking about a broadcast of love. And I just love all the time how divinely perfect each and every one of these sections is. That, as I went through and asked what the name of day 15 was, it was so clear. A broadcast of love. They talk about it in day 15. I think it's one of the first times I have heard that phrase, probably said at least 10 times before, but it is perfect for what we are up to tonight. So may it be with the blessing, blessing, blessing of Source, that we continue to remember that we are the love that we have been always looking for. We are the love that is going to transform the world, and that we are in community here, being that love and getting all of the support that we need to just keep taking it all up, up, up in frequency. With that, we say amen and aho, and go ahead and put it in the chat if you have something in particular that you are bringing to this party. There is a lot going on. We're going to do a lot tonight. I'm very excited about it all. Because day 15, what stands before you today in a realized state, is a new idea, a new potential, a new claim of being upon what is experienced by you. How awesome is it that this is like we're going to do new ideas, new potentials, new claims about everything that we're experiencing. And, it can be absolutely true. We can have lots of times where we are just like, oh, for God's sakes, what is going on now with me? I mean, did I not handle all this? Did I not take care of all of this like yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before? How much more could there possibly be? And so, yeah, it is a lot. And Terry, yeah, I get that. After the equinox, you're like, yes, I got through it. And then you're like, and now there's another one. And the good news for all of us to remember is that it is getting better. It does not necessarily look like it. I'm sure every one of you have had at least one moment when you have started cleaning something out and you get partway through it and you are having that, oh my God, why did I start this? Or what have I gotten myself into? Am I ever going to get done with this? And that is what we are experiencing now. Care is the person that I take a lot of comfort in the things that she says. She said it on social media. She's saying it in our classes, that this is the time that many have prophesied about, the Hopi Indians in particular, said between the spring equinox and winter solstice in 2025 is going to be a complete upheaval. The good news is winter solstice is, December 20th, 21st, something like that. And listen, we've already got Christmas decorations in all of the stores, so it must be right around the corner. And then January is supposed to be a little bit crazy, but hey, by the time my birthday comes around, it's all going to be good. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay. Just go into February, and just keep reminding yourself that there's nothing here we truly want to keep. We don't want to keep those old ideas we have about what relationships look like, or what our jobs are, or how we're supposed to respond to certain people's comments and what is going on out in the world. We just get to keep reminding ourselves, okay, deep breath. What was I thinking about? And just like letting that, whatever it is, kind of go. That is exactly what we are talking about here. That's pretty much the entire day 15 summed up right there. Like, we have to just keep reminding ourselves that everything is transforming. And I know, I feel like I could say, I said it 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to say it in 2 weeks. Everything is transforming, and it's transforming in ways we have no real idea about. We just kind of like, you're sitting there scrubbing a spot out. Is it ever going to come clean? And then suddenly, poof, it's gone. So we have to keep reminding ourselves of that. So what we are doing right now is we're busy. My team is busy helping you move more blocks to your information, to the blocks that are in your clairvoyant channels, your clairsentient channels, your clairaudient channels, and most importantly, in your claircognizant channels. We want to know. It is so important now that we know who we are, that we know what we stand for, that we know what we're willing to stand up for. And so we're working on everybody's channels. The other thing we're working on, I love this, are the amplifiers and magnifiers that we have in our bodies. As we can move them, we want to move more of those amplifiers, magnifiers. Think like they're magnifying the low frequencies in you, and nobody needs any more magnification of that stuff. So we are moving what amplifiers and magnifiers we can now. And then there is going to be a gift at the end for all of us to amplify the high frequencies, right? So we come in, scoop up all the trash, all the low frequencies, all the dirt we can get, scoop that all up, get rid of that, and then come back in and gift like crazy, which then allows your body to go up in frequency and go after that next piece. See, all of that in a simple hour. So, how are you doing? Like, what's going on? What do you have that you're like, I'd like to put this out there so that we can heal more of that. I don't need this anymore. Whatever this is, if you're like, I have been really pissed off about my next door neighbor putting their trash can on my side of the yard, put that in there. We're happy to help you with that, right? It doesn't have to be like gigantic, oh my God, this is like rocking my world. It could just be like, this is really irritating me and I'm ready to move more of that. happy to help you with all of those things. And if you have something in particular that is showing up with this particular part of the book, happy to help you with that. Here's my hint for the day. I had an opportunity to have a conversation with my dear friend Joan. Joan and I actually did the podcast on the 9th book, I think it was, The Kingdom. And we talk about this stuff. We're like nerds about this stuff. I said, it's so interesting to me that there are times when I read the material and I'm just like, what? What did they say? I don't even understand. And I actually read something to her. I actually showed it to her on my phone and she read it herself. And then she goes, will you read it to me? And then I read it to her and she's like, I don't know what it is, but she says, I'm so very much an auditory learner. And I was like, now that you say that, I think I am too. So probably about 5 o'clock, I had like 15, 20 minutes before I was going to sit down and eat dinner. And so I went out for a walk, put day 15 into my ears and listened to it again. And I was like, oh yeah, that's really good. Oh, I get that. Oh, that's fabulous. So if that calls to you, it's a way to get your walk in, a way to get some healing done, make yourself feel a little better, that's a possibility. Healings for all of us, where our significant others, in whatever shape they look like, because sometimes I need healings on my kids, sometimes I need healing on my husband. I could really use some healings on my cats. They've been annoying the heck out of me lately. But clearing more karma and agreements with all of those usual suspects, because that's a really lovely thing when we can clear more karma and agreements and help ourselves get more to the neutral part. Could I just get to the neutral part? I don't even need to get to the good part. Can I just get to the neutral part where I'm just not quite so triggered? And then, it's fabulous. So lots of help in that area. Okay. So I doubt it's the first time we've read it, but it felt like the first time in day 15. It will be so. It will be so. And they say it, I don't know, they probably say it at least 5 times, 10 times in day 15. It will be so. And somewhere in here, the way they give the description, I'm like, what? And I love, Terry just made a comment to me, like, she's like, each week when I read the book, I feel like I'm reading Latin. And there are times when it is like that, when it's just like, what? I don't even understand. So let me simplify. It will be so for all of us who might just want the really simple, okay, let me hear that. It will be so is, I got you, Jill. It will be so. Let's just make it really simple and call it the seal. Like, in the old days when you took a letter and you put it in the envelope and then you put the wax on it and you put your seal on it, it will be so. Like you are telling the field, it will be so. Whenever you say a claim of truth, whenever you hear a mantra, whatever it is, boom, it will be so. Like you are telling the field, this is the case, this is going to happen, and it's just, let's make it that simple. All the other stuff that they said about it, sometimes I was literally reading it going, huh? But I don't even know if that makes sense. When somebody says a mantra, we always say it will be so after it, and I'm like, seal it. Done. Okay, enough on that one. It will be so. They say something like, claim upon the manifest world not mandating change, but experiencing it. So this piece, we're not mandating change, we're experiencing it. This is one of the pieces that we hear over and over again. Like, have you ever, if you'd like to say you have, been like, I need this now. This is how it has to be. I'm sick and tired of it being blah, 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 blah. Right? That's our personality going on and on and on about what we want. This is how we want it. And what they are reminding us of is that we are allowing everything to be what it is. We're not mandating it. We're allowing it to be what it is. So we can get really worked up about something. Let's see, what was I getting really? Oh, I get really worked up about when my husband goes to the grocery store and he buys something that he thinks we need and we already have a lot of it in the house. If he's listening, I apologize one more time. I get really worked up about that. And I'm just like, but I mean, why do you do that? We've made up this rule and this is how it's going to be. And why do we keep doing it? Blah, 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 blah. And I just keep going on and on about it. And what they're telling me is what I want to do is allow it to be whatever it is. He walks in the house with 15 of something that we already have 10 of. Okay, let it go. And sometimes that means walking away from the situation. Sometimes that means starting to say something and closing your mouth and not saying something, and just reminding yourself that you're getting a healing on whatever it is. This is really key for all of us. If we can remember to just be like, okay, so this is what it is. If I'm feeling like this is what it is, I'm just going to ask for the healing. I'm just going to ask for the help and trust how it shows up. It's really good when we can do this. And yes, Terry, that's a great example. So I get really triggered by Terry is talking about dirty dishes that don't get taken back into the kitchen. Mine is when something gets opened somewhere and the trash sits on the counter, on the table, on the sofa, on the whatever, right? Where I'm like, for God's sakes, how hard is it? And then I go, oh yeah, that's right. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Because it doesn't matter. You know, what I want to catch is when I go, oh my God, what do they think? I'm their maid? I'm like, oh, catch that one. Let me give myself a healing on the places where I have an idea that that's what that means, right? Let me have a healing on that meaning that I am this, because that's going to last longer. The healing is going to last longer. There are some things that I have been triggered about for years and years, maybe even decades. It's faster in the long run for me to give myself a healing and say, you know, let's just let that go, than it is for me to try to get somebody else to change. So, healings for all of us on that. What I see with all of that, everybody's got them, stacks of pictures. If you want to ask, where is my stack of pictures? You can certainly do that. A lot of us have them in our sternums. A lot of us have them in our third eye. Third eye is where we store a lot of ideas about ourselves, about who we are and what we look like and what we're up to. That means there's a lot of places there that we're like not even telling ourselves the truth. not even telling ourselves anywhere close to the truth. If anybody wants to admit, if you have a place where you are like, I am so powerful, I am so worthy, I am so filled with love all the time, right? I'm always going, I am worthy, I am love, I am powerful, right? Yeah, we all have some of that. So, healings for all of us on those places. Stacks of pictures. We also have a few mirrors. If you want to have fun, you can feel free to check in about what your mirror looks like. Checking in. Just ask, like you could literally sit there and go, okay, can I see what the mirror looks like that is telling me that I'm not enough? See what shows up. You might have a sense that it's a very simple mirror. You might have a sense that it's a very fancy mirror. You might have a sense of what color the mirror is. Or maybe you don't see a mirror at all. And if that's the case, happy to give you some help with that so I can clear more of your channels on that. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Perfect. Mirrors, mirrors, mirrors. Mirrors on the wall. Somebody's got a compact mirror. Does compact mirror mean it's small? It means it might be small, but still can be just as mighty. Okay, we're also going to go through and we're going to work on control boxes. We have control boxes energetically in our body, and they can look like a lot of different things. Sometimes I see them like the light switch, like that goes into the wall, the whole box piece. Sometimes I see them like little microchips, but we have these things energetically in our body that what happens is something hits it and it suddenly puts off the frequency that it was designed to create more of. So the control box is programmed for fear, and then an idea comes along and hits it, and then it bounces back fear, like, oh, I'm really happy, I'm so excited about creating this new thing, and then it hits that control energy, and suddenly you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that, maybe that's not really cool, maybe there's somebody who's going to be really upset about it, or something's going to happen, or right? And so you can have those as well, and those are things we're all working on. And Terry has a funhouse mirror, very distorted. There is nothing fun about a funhouse mirror. Never thought there was anything fun about a funhouse mirror when I went to the carnivals. Don't think there's anything fun about them now. So if you want to ask what yours looks like, there's a couple of them that we have that look like they're very distorted. Like some of them make us look like we're very big. Some of them make us look like we're really thin, like we're almost insignificant. And that one's really interesting because when I was first looking at it, I was like, oh, that would be really cool. I'd like something that made me feel thin. And then I'm like, oh, wow, it looks like it makes you feel like you're non-existent, like you do not exist, you're insignificant. So I'm going to move all those too. Okay. And what we're doing is we're cleaning ourselves up, because we're going to get to the place where we are going to start doing some crystal activations out in the field, because we are the broadcast of love. Okay. That's what's cool. So I didn't count how many frequencies were talked about in day 15. Sometimes I do that. They talk about a lot of frequencies, because they always talk about the frequency of love. They talk about creation, and realization is one of them that they always talk about in the very beginning. Manifestation is another one that they always talk about. Yes, this day 15, they talk about renunciation, and renunciation is actually on the planet now. It's probably been on the planet since they started talking about it, but I didn't actually check. But this is another one of those things that they talk about in the book, and they talk about it on page 190, the top of 190, that like sometimes I read this stuff and I'm like, what? What did they just say? Renunciation is the alignment to what exists beyond the old. That makes sense. Aligning to what exists beyond what you think exists, right? And in claiming the old, the new is not only renounced, but it is hidden from you. When you claim the new, you renounce the old, but your attachment to the old claims you again and again. And I get that there's a teaching there, that they're explaining what happens, that what we do is we're like, oh yeah, I'm done with that. I'm not going to say that word anymore. I'm finished. Don't need that anymore. And then, a day later, we say the word that we said we were never going to say. And we're like, oh, I don't remember saying that, right? We just keep calling those things up again and again and again. It's part of what we do, because we live on a low frequency planet. And so for me, how I see renunciation is it is aligning to what exists beyond the old, but what the frequency actually does is it dissolves the attachments we have to the old. So those, if you want to see them as like connections that we have, like, here's where I stand in present day, here's my old idea, and there's attachments, that keep running. And so when I bring in this frequency, renunciation, and I apply it to that, the attachments all disappear. So it's easier for me to let go of the old ideas. So you can use this frequency in your own practice. If you're somebody who likes to, sit and work on yourself, or you're having thoughts about something that you keep doing over and over again, and you're like, I'm really ready to let that go, you can say, oh yeah, I want to use some renunciation, or I want to renounce those old habits. And because the frequency is here on the planet, that's what happens. It starts to dissolve more of that attachment we have to the old idea. It's really awesome. I love that, they then start talking about the divine, because here's one that we have. What God looks like. Big healings for all of us on what God looks like and how God acts, and the God that the God of retribution, and the God of punishment, and the God of love, and the God of all of that. They actually talk about the idea of God as something that is in retribution must now be understood and re-understood as a creation of humanity. God is not about retribution. Never has been, never will be. What that is some humans that came along and said, here's some stories about whoever it is being turned into a pillar of salt, because we want to control people. We want to, have them be in fear that if they talk about what they see us doing, that they're going to be turned into a pillar of salt. Creation of humanity. Indeed, there have been floods. Indeed, there are fires. Indeed, there are always changes in your experience of this realm. But when you understand the divine and are party to the higher creation, you are reclaiming what has been denied and knowing yourself as worthy of it. You have always been worthy, always been worthy, always been worthy. What you are experiencing are all those places where somebody told you, you picked up an idea that you were not worthy, that you were not enough, that because you told a lie when you were 5 years old, that you are not worthy. And we're transforming more of that for all of us tonight, because it is nowhere close to the truth. So there are more stacks of pictures that we are moving. We're lifting everybody up and beyond that idea that you are not worthy enough, that there was something that you said or did to tick God off. God's like, are you ticked? God's like, I'm not ticked. Never even thought about it. I just am all about the love, the love, the love. So there you go. Here's another piece for this day, that what we want to remind ourselves on a very practical level is that we are lifting ourselves up and over whatever is going on. Now, in your daily life, that can look like a lot of different things, right? You can have times where you are working with somebody as part of your job and they're annoying the heck out of you. And you're just like challenged beyond belief. Like, I want to go to the right and they are right there in front of you. And then you're like, okay, I'll go to the left. And then they step over to the left. And then you're like, okay, I'm about to go around you. And you're telling them that. And they're like following you around, right? We can have those kinds of things happening to us. If you're somebody who turns on the TV and you're like, I just want to get 3 minutes of what's happening with the weather, and you get triggered by something that is happening out there in the world, yes, that happens. And then we want to stop, take a breath, and remind ourselves that what we're doing is lifting all of that up. That all that stuff that's going on out there is designed to trigger us and to help us learn how to lift it all up, how to send some more love there and walk away from it. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be sending lots of love out there and just some more practice, because man, oh man, we can be triggered. I love this example. I don't know about you guys. If this is you, feel free to admit it, because I'm going to admit it. They talk about, this does not mean that you're experiencing what you would say you should, but it does mean that what is experienced is far beyond what you would have claimed at the level that you have known yourself through in prior history. In other words, you have been playing the old radio stations. You understand the old music. You think all music must resemble the old. You are prepared for the old, and you get confused when the radio suddenly starts playing something other. What is being played now is a broadcast of love, and in love, fear will not be claimed. I read that and I see my mom. Now, my mom spent several years in a long-term care facility. She had some Alzheimer's going on, kind of went in and out of that. But I see somebody old, like expecting to be listening to Frank Sinatra. And Frank Sinatra doesn't come on, it could be Blondie, but it could also be a current group that comes on and starts playing, and you're looking at the radio like, what is that music? I don't understand it. I can't make sense of it. And you cannot get past the part that that's an old song that you're listening to, and you want it to change, right? You want it to shift. Did I say that right? Okay. You're not listening to the old song. You're listening to a new song. We're shifting that. There we go. Thank you. Dear Lord. All those places where there's a disconnect, I just see this disconnection in everybody's brain. It's like a loose wire into their pituitary. Some of them are in the pineal. Can we go through and clean those up? So, yeah, it's a sign that it's an old song. And they use that as an example because there are lots of things that were like, this should look like that. This is how I've always done it. This is how I make the bed. This is how I load the dishwasher. This is how I've always gotten on the internet. Well, that doesn't mean it's going to continue that way, right? We are transforming everything and taking it up in frequency. If anybody wants to admit to the fact, like, yeah, I want to go back to dial-up, right? Hopefully there's nobody here who's going, oh yeah, I want to go to dial-up. That was so much fun. I love listening to the beep, beep, boop, 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 boop. I loved how much free time I had while I was waiting for a website to load. That is what we're doing in our everyday lives. We are getting annoyed because what's happening in our life isn't dial-up. That's a really good example. Getting annoyed because it's not dial-up. And then you go, oh yeah, tomorrow when you get aggravated by something and you hear the beep, beep, boop, 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 like the dial-up, you go, oh yeah, there's Bonnie reminding me that I don't want dial-up anymore. I want fast, fast, fast. I want to transform it as fast as I can, take it all up in frequency and have it all be more about love. And as we do that, we are summoning the next level. That's what they're talking about, being summoned. We're summoning the next levels. We are saying, yes, we want more, we want more, we want more. I don't want the dial-up. I want fast internet service. I want to be able to click, click, click and get it done. Yes, please, let's keep taking it up in frequency. I love this example. Somewhere in here they talk about, we have to remember that we're used to describing things in terms of something we already know. So you taste a fruit that you don't recognize, you try to describe it in terms of something that you've already had before. We do that because we are a sensory person, and that's how we know how to describe things. So it's not wrong. Don't make yourself wrong because you're like, oh, there I am in dial-up again. You're just like, oh, okay, there it was. Now let me transform it. Keep transforming all of that. We do not need to be stuck back there in those old days. They talk about, I love this, on page 194 towards the end of day 15. How many times have you said, oh, I'm just a klutz. Oh, I'm just an idiot. Oh, I am just getting a really bad mood. Or, I know it's a bad idea. I don't even know what I was thinking, right? We're busy putting ourselves down. So there's lots of healing for all of us, a reclamation of all of those places where we think we're not enough. And then here's what we're going to do, because this is really all about, as we lift up, we're taking everybody around us up with us. So first I'm going to do this claim. On this day, we claim that all who hear this, all who read these words informed by this tone, will be met experientially in the agreement to what is always true. It will be so. Sealed. God is, God is, God is. What is will be. What was will be reknown. What is challenged by fear will be lifted up to love. What is claimed in love will know itself as worthy. And what you say, what you are, what you can only be in truth, will be the song of being, I have come. What is will be. What is, it's already here. We're already here. That's what will be. What was, what we think used to be, it's going to be reknown. We're going to re-see it. We're going to lift it up. What is challenged by fear will be lifted to love. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to be the crystal activators. We're going to activate some crystals around the field. Now, let me just tell you, there are loads and loads and loads. Loads isn't even the right word. Billions, cajillions of crystals around the globe that are waiting to be activated. They have been there this entire time, not like our lifetime, not like our grandparents' lifetime. They have been there for the lifetime of the planet. These crystals have been there, and they have been waiting for enough people to reach the frequency that they can start activating these crystals. They've been waiting for people to reach the frequency so that they can start activating them. So when these crystals get activated, what happens is they start pulsing the higher frequencies of whatever was put in them. And we're talking about, high frequencies of love and rapture and creativity and renunciation and recreation and just a whole host of frequencies. The full moon is happening, I believe it's on Monday, next Monday night, I believe. And with the full moon comes a new frequency to the planet called courage. Now, all of these frequencies as they come onto the planet start helping us become more crystal activators, become a higher frequency, so that as we move around the world, so that as we work in the field, we start activating those crystals that have just been hanging out. Now, remember, we're talking about an energetic crystal. You may see some physical crystals, but we're talking about energetic crystals at the moment. So what we're going to do is we are going to together start creating some more love and putting it out into the field. Now, that'll look different for everybody. Some of you have the ability to create designs, and so you're busy creating designs and you're putting them out into the field, and the crystals are getting activated. Some of you are like, radiating lots of high frequencies from your hands, and you're busy just love, 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 love. Intention is everything here, and that's really what we're working with. Intention. So, as I was sitting before I got on tonight, I was like, okay, what are some places that we want to specifically work? And feel free to put other things into the chat. If you put them into the chat and you change the chat from hosts and panelists to everyone, then everyone will see what you're putting into the chat. Keys coming in for everybody. More gifts, more gifts, more gifts. If you want to know what your key looks like, you can certainly ask. There's all different colors, all different kinds. I see key cards, and I see old-fashioned keys, and I see keys like we used 30 years ago in our cars. There's some keys that are like buttons. All of those things are coming in. Nothing like just in the middle of a sentence. Keys coming in. And behind that, harmonics are coming in. Harmonics are musical frequencies, lots of harmonics coming in for all of us, helping us lift up the world. So if you have something that shows up for you that you'd like to work on, we're going to do this for the rest of the time that we're together, as far as I know. We're going to assume that's the case. So the first one we're working on is the court system. The court system. And we're just sending lots of love and blessings to the court system, to whatever that looks like for you, right? You might have a particular situation, a particular case, and a particular experience in the past with the court system. And we are helping you move those pictures, frames, ideas you have of that. But we're also loving and blessing the court system all over the world, because it's not just about America. Although Lord knows that America needs a little help. So the court system. Now that also includes the justice system. So we're sending lots of love and blessings to the justice system as well, and all the ways that that shows up. I was listening to some music before I got on tonight, and I love Lizzo. And so I keep having Lizzo songs pop into my head in the back, so I'm trying hard not to be like, hands to the sky. Tell me that you're mine. So just put your hands up. Everybody put your hands up. Okay. Like I said, these are just what showed up. So if you have something else you want to add, please feel free to put it in the chat. Kids without parents. Kids without parents. Whatever that looks like. Somewhere there's a lot of kids without parents. Jill, yes, our house could use that healing in the court system. Yeah. Butch trying to finalize his divorce after 14 years. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a system that needs to be lifted, right? There's a lot of craziness, and until you experience it, you're like, oh, it's not that bad. And then you have some experience with it, or a friend has an experience with it, and you're like, oh, dear Lord. So, yeah, loving and blessing that, loving and blessing kids without parents, whatever that looks like. That's just how it showed up for me. Kids without parents. And remember, we're talking about the world. It's not just, oh, here in America. Which will be really clear. Clearing the fear and the pain, the hurt. Terry says, I'm seeing a massive crystal cave with a huge crystal at the front of it, almost standing guard. It's beautiful. Yep. Activating those crystals. With the weather? Are you referring to the storms, Jill? Because we're not actually having any weather. Yeah. I'm like, it rained and then it stops and then it rains and then it stops and then it rains and then it stops. There's no real storm. It was actually really beautiful today. Cool enough. It was 84. Steamy, but still 84 with lots of breeze. But thanks for asking. Yeah, I don't always know what's going on, particularly because we don't have to board up. Terry, the financial system, absolutely. Let's work on that one too. The financial system and the places where people, it's filled with fear and a lot of unconsciousness, a lot of atheists. Yeah. Animal welfare organizations showed up. Whatever they are. It was very interesting because I was seeing like jaguars, which one could say I live in Florida, so the jaguars. But then I was seeing whales, and then I was seeing these almost like little worm-like beings, and I don't know that they were actually insects on this planet, but yeah, I'm like, sure, we'll give you a healing too, right? Because we want to lift it all up. It's not like we want to be in judgment. Oh, I'm only lifting up the people who agree with me. Yeah, that's how that works. And clear karma and agreements with the people who don't agree with me. See, here's another one that was just like, wow, this was so interesting. Warring factions in Africa. Warring factions in Africa, whatever they look like, right? I just send out love and blessings, whatever that is. Like when I start looking at that, I feel like there's some things that are like the Hatfields and the McCoys, you know, like something that goes back generations that they are not, they just can't agree on. And so they're busy arguing and fighting over that stuff. And, you know, that's okay. Each one is allowed their opinion, but let's clean up the conversation so they get to a place where they can be like, oh, okay, I understand what you're saying. I don't agree with it, but I understand what you're saying. So work on that. Send more love and blessings to all the people who are having lots of disagreements and arguments, and Lord knows there's a few of those places here in America. So can we do that? Yep. Warring factions in America as well. The internet. I'm sure the internet could use a little cleaning up. All of us get on there. And then we expect that we're all going to be, you know, friends and lovers after we've spit all of our stuff out onto the internet. Ooh, the people living in fear. There are the people who are living in fear for their life, the people who are living in fear in their head. Like when I say that, I see all these people who have so much going on inside their head, like they're beings are busy arguing with each other, and Lord knows nobody needs that. So more love and blessings there, more wonder, more inspiration, more illumination, more transformation. And all of that, this is the cool thing, guys. If you weren't aware of this, that when we work on others, we are gifted as well. Everything that we are gifting to other people, we are gifting to ourselves. So, like Terry says, the financial system. As I was looking at that, I'm like, oh, that includes the places where I've gotten really annoyed with my bank. Yes, I'll take the healing on that. Right? Who wants to be annoyed with your bank? Who wants to be annoyed with anybody? Not I. All right. Families on the streets. Whatever that looks like. People who are unhoused. Terry says lawmakers. Lawmakers, yes. That's a great one. And, lawmakers on a local level, on a state level, on the national level, in whatever place it is, yeah. Let's just keep wrapping all of them with more wonder, right? That frequency of clarity, with more truth. With more periwinkle. If you're not familiar with periwinkle, periwinkle is the frequency that helps clear judgment, more worthiness. The frequency of resurrection is the 12th level of worthiness. That is a sapphire blue. More worthiness. There's so much created from a place of, well, I'm not enough, so I need to sit and argue and fight it about it. Okay. Loved ones in hospitals. It's a weird list, right? Loved ones in hospitals. Hopefully there's some of these that you all are relating to. Clear out the fear and the anger and the shame and the blame. Hospitals in general, yep. And in that, long-term care facilities, places, mental institutions. I was like, what's the PC word for that? Sometimes I hear my daughter in my head, Mom, you can't say that. Yeah, all those places. Love and blessings, lots of love and blessings for all the mental health facilities. Thank you, Terry. Yeah. Somebody texted me and said, I have a friend who is constantly hearing voices, and I'm afraid the voices are going to make them harm themselves. If you don't know why, you should consider mastery of your information. It's because you learn how to clear karma and agreements and reassign beings. Because goodness knows, man, the world needs less beings in people's spaces. So there's lots of harmonics and love going out in the world. I've been watching these different crystals. It just looks like this crystal came online. Zoom. This crystal came online. Zoom. This crystal came online. Zoom. Very cool. Jill says our co-worker's 6-month-old nephew is in the hospital. He has a heart condition and needs a new heart. His lungs are filling up this weekend. Bless, 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 bless. Bless that family. And bless that little baby. Yeah. And we just keep blessing them. That's a great example. Like, it's really easy for us to be like, oh, that poor baby. That is us going down into the fear, down into the low frequencies. And we're like, absolutely, it's a challenge for us, and it's an opportunity to just keep lifting them up. May it all be perfect, designed exactly as that baby needs for them. Can we clear the way so that that heart can be received, and it's received from a place of so much love, moving more the fear that the family must be feeling, right? We move the low frequencies out of the way so that the high frequencies can do their work. Yeah. I love when you all bring those kinds of examples, to all of us, because then we can chat about it. It's not like, it's just easier to have some examples and go, oh, okay, now I see how that works. I want to keep loving and blessing them and loving and blessing them. And if it's something that triggers me, I want to love and bless myself along the way. Okay, so that's my list. Wrap it all up. More majesty. More reconciliation. Devotion. Coherence. Devotion and coherence are both in the rose pink quartz spectrum, along with love and rapture. Did anybody hear about the rapture that was happening? Rapture is actually a frequency. And that's why when people talk about the rapture, I'm always like, well, yeah, it's a frequency, and it came onto the planet like 4 years ago. So everybody has access to the rapture. Or Christ consciousness frequency for everybody. Now, all of you have a wand as a gift, and you may see it with an orb attached or a star tetrahedron attached. You may have a cube on top of it. You might see it in a lot of different ways, but it is a gift of love, and it is filled with loads of those rose pink quartz frequencies. And also there is a little bit of that frequency that's coming into the planet on Monday called courage. Beautiful frequency. Imagine what's going to happen as that frequency hits the planet and more people start working with that frequency of courage, where you start going, I'm speaking up. I'm going to transform what I see. I'm not going to continue to allow this to happen anymore. See, everything is going up. It's really positive. It's really awesome. We just keep trusting it all. So once again, page 194. What is will be. What was will be renowned. What is challenged by fear will be lifted to love. What is claimed in love will know itself as worthy. And what you say, what you are, what you can only be in truth, will be the song of being. I have come. You are claimed in love. You are worthy. I claim you in love. You are worthy. I want to thank you guys so much for all that you do, for how you show up, for being a huge broadcast of love, because that's what you are in truth. We don't always appreciate that we're walking around going, woo, woo, woo. We're just radiating love everywhere we go. And we're busy broadcasting that love all the time, whether you're pissed off or whether you're in a happy, skippy mood, you are still doing that. So I thank you so much for your service. With that, I seal the field under the light of that one true source, Creator God, whom I thank immensely for all of the love, all of the joy, all of what is available to us. I also thank my healing team, and I thank each and every one of you who show up and go, yes, I'm willing to broadcast love everywhere. I love and adore each and every one of you. I thank you, thank you, thank you for your love and support. And we'll be back here 2 weeks. I should know the date, but I don't. 2 weeks, we'll be back here for day 16. Lots of love to you. With that, we say amen and aho. Have a fabulous evening, everybody. And if you need any help, please feel free to send me a text. Love you guys.